What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian and welcome to Zero Productions. Alright, you guys, so it's looking like we're in the early stages, very early stages of the sequel to Venom. Now, I'm not surprised by this. Venom was a huge box office success that nobody really expected to happen. I went into Venom very optimistic and ended up really enjoying the movie. That being said, you guys, where do we go with the sequel? Where do we go with the sequel? Obviously, if you saw the post-credit scene for the first Venom, you know that a curly-haired, red-headed psychopath was at the end of that movie, Carnage. Now, I'm very excited to see our first live adaptation version of Carnage on the big screen. It's never been done before. Woody Harrelson's gonna fucking knock it out of the park. But we're talking about the sequel. They got, what's her name? Kelly Marcel to pen the script for the sequel. She was, I believe, co-writer on the first one, but it looked like she'll be writing this one for the sequel. Also, Michelle Williams will be returning for the film. Of course, Tom Hardy is returning as Eddie Brock in Venom for the sequel. And you also have Woody Harrelson, who also will replace his role as Cletus Cassidy, Carnage. Now, I'm excited. I'm not too sure when they'll probably start production on this movie. I want to say possibly by the end of this year, or even going towards maybe October, November-ish. Depends on how far they've gotten on the script. But it's much easier to do your sequel when you have, you know, the first one already completed and everybody who's on board for the first one coming back for the second one. So they'll probably start shooting as early as November, late as February of next year. The release date probably won't be until 2021, possibly, maybe, if I had to guess. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for Venom. Like I said, you know, the first Venom was such a huge shocker. Pulled in $642 million overseas and made $844 million worldwide. It's pretty good if you ask me. I mean, nobody really thought Venom was going to pull in that much, but it did. And also got this Venom and Carnage Unleashed graphic novel that I still have to dip my hands into and really read on, you know, how these two interact, you know, to get ready for the sequel. Obviously, there's more Venom comic books with Carnage. I just got this one for Christmas, so I'm definitely going to have to read into it, you know, and dabble into it. But I'm curious to see where they go with this direction for the sequel. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man won't be in it. Maybe. Maybe. We don't know. Do we really know that Spider-Man won't be in this movie? Like, do we really know? Think about it. Because, like I said, with the release date probably not be until 2021 or 2022 latest. A lot of things can happen by then. Like, we don't know the whole contract between Marvel Studios and Sony with Spider-Man. We really don't. So, it could happen. And there also could be, you know, a thing where they can introduce Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker. You know, they can go that route. They don't necessarily have to go the Peter Parker route. It is their own spin-off universe through Spider-Man villains. And they don't have to go the Peter Parker route. But they could go the Miles Morales route. So I can see potentially Sony doing something of that nature. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And there was also that rumor that Apple might buy Sony. And if that's the case, Marvel Studios or Disney will get the official rights to all the Spider-Man characters. I was like, well, if that happens, say goodbye to all the Venom movies. Say goodbye to, you know, whatever they had planned and stuff like that. Because I don't think, you know, Kevin Feige would, you know, want to continue those projects moving forward. But it's going to be interesting to see what the future of this whole Venomverse and Spider-Man-less verse, some would say. But we are close. I think, Morbius, the Living Vampire, is starting production, I want to say, February of this year. So, we'll get that sometime next year. I think they said October of next year. Correct me if I'm wrong. But who knows? Who knows? You know, guys, I'm still have high hopes for the sequel. I just want the writing to be a little bit better for the sequel. That's pretty much it. You know, just tweak the writing and make sure it's, you know, it's good and, you know, not so cheesy. But that's what you get when you get comic book movies. You're going to get some cheesy stuff. You're going to get some cheesy scenes. And I guess you have to be, you know, accepted to that and understand what, you know, what really comes with the source material. Because Venom It's a jokester in some of the comics that I've read. And, you know, that would make sense for them to continue that. But don't have it all the time. You know what I mean? Some moments make very serious. And then, you know, some moments have your cheesy moments, you know. Then that would make sense. And also, they need a new director. Ruben Fleischer will not be directing the sequel to Venom due to conflicts between the scheduling, because he's going to be currently working on Zombieland 2, which I'm extremely excited for. If I had to choose him to do Venom 2 or Zombieland 2, do Zombieland 2, because I really enjoyed Zombieland 1. That shit was fucking hilarious, man. When Bill Murray got shot in the chest, best part of the entire movie. That shit had me dying. But who should direct it? Who should direct the sequel to Venom? James Gunn? Who knows? I know he's looking for work right now. But I know I think he's still doing the whole Suicide Squad reboot or Suicide Squad 2 thing that, you know, that was announced a couple months ago. But who knows? I mean, as far as the director, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, there's some people who would love to take on the sequel for this next film and, you know, really moving forward with it and, you know, sharing their interpretations and their direct vision on how, you know, they perceive Venom for the sequel as well. I always like seeing new directors sometimes because, you know, different directors can bring different things to the table, you know. But it's going to be interesting to see. They'll probably announce a director probably within the next 4 to 5 months, as you know, the early stages of the sequel progress and things of that nature. But going to be interesting, you guys. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about the Venom sequel. What would you like to see in the Venom sequel besides Carnage? Anything new? Who do you think should direct the sequel? Post your comments down below, you guys. And thank you for taking time out of your day for watching Zero Productions. Peace.